Hey, it's Jennifer Collins here. I am doing some bathroom study time for the Arkansas real estate law exam. I'm taking it on Tuesday and I am reviewing the questions. I'm on question 11 through 20 maybe. We'll see how far we get. I'm going to read the question and we will tell us the answer. So really this is just for my own benefit so that I can listen to this while I'm driving. Okay. Number 11, in Arkansas, an exclusive right to buy contract, C, must be indicated as such in the buyer agency agreement. So if it's exclusively the right to buy contract, it must be indicated as such in the buyer agency agreement. If anything's exclusive, it's going to have to be in the contract. Okay. 12. Buyer brokerage contracts in Arkansas, A, are strongly recommended to be in writing to be enforceable. Almost every one of these questions is must be in writing, must be in writing, must be in writing, must be in writing. Okay, number 13. When must agency representation disclosures be presented to the prospective buyers? This is one that is already asked in another question before. It said, it says, when must the agency disclose his or her agency relationship to the buyer? This answer says in a timely manner. This next one puts it this way. It says they may be initially made orally. So they're asking the exact same things in different ways. So they just want you to get a concept. They want you to get a concept. So the buyer, it must be made orally or just in a timely manner. I get mascara everywhere. Okay, that's 13. 14, broker W represents the seller of real estate. Broker P from another firm wishes to show broker W's listing. When must agency representation be disclosed to broker W if broker P is representing the buyer as a buyer's agent? You're talking about the agent. If you are representing the buyer as the buyer's agent, you need to do that at first contact. You need to do, this is another one of those handshaking moments. This is a, here's my business card moment. This is saying that you are the agent. Okay, so that is when you're talking to the buyer as the buyer's agent. Got it? At first contact. Okay, number 15. A broker has former clients interested in seeing a new listing that his firm has just listed. In this situation, the broker, okay, you have a listing and your client wants to see your listing. What does that mean? That means you need to, A, consider discussing dual agency with the buyers. Hey, just want you to know, we have this listing. You're totally welcome to look at it, but that means that I am representing you. I'm representing both of these situations, the buyer and the seller, which makes me the boss and making the most money. So thought I would tell you by law because I have to. Number 16, what are 3 types of agency recognized in Arkansas? A, seller, buyer, and disclosed dual. There's 3 different agencies. You got seller and the buyer, and then you got both of them together, but it has to be disclosed. How hard can that part be? Okay, number 17, in the dual agency situation, a broker may collect a commission from both the seller and the buyer if C, both parties give their written informed consent to the dual compensation. So you're only allowed to get compensation if the buyer and the seller consent in writing. There it is again, in writing. A buyer who is a client of the broker wants to purchase a house that the broker has listed for sale. Which of the following statements is true? The seller and the buyer must be informed of the situation and agree to the broker representing both of them. So this dual agency situation has to be disclosed. and it has to be agreed upon, especially if you expect to get paid. Who must complete the owner property disclosure report? The seller. The seller must disclose the owner property. Wait, who must complete the owner property disclosure report? The seller. Okay. The owner property disclosure report may be delivered to the prospective buyer in any of the following situations, except you can't deliver it after the closing. The other answers are prior to the buyer entering a written offer, within 3 days of the accepted offer, only in accordance with the offer and acceptance, after closing. So it cannot be done after the closing. Okay. Number 21. In Arkansas, when an agent is listing a home and asks the seller to complete a property condition disclosure, the agent A should advise the seller to answer truthfully about any problems or conditions known to the seller. Okay, you should advise the seller to answer truthfully about any problems or conditions known to the seller. I know that when I'm selling furniture, which is what I've done for 12 years, if there is a defect in something, I have to make sure I tell you so that I am honestly caring for you and representing the my boss the right way, and truthfully about the conditions. That is all that we are advised the seller to do when they're completing that form, is to fill it out truthfully. Okay. 6 months after the buyer bought a house, the roof leaked during a rainstorm. When the house was listed, the seller told the broker that the roof leaked, but they both agreed not to tell any prospective buyers. The broker claims that the buyer did not ask about the roof. Under these facts, the buyer can A, sue the seller and broker for withholding a known material fact. So, here we go. If it's 6 months after the buyer bought a house and the roof leaked during a rainstorm when the house was listed, the seller told the broker that the roof leaked, but they both agreed not to tell any buyers. They are being deceptive. That is not cool. It comes back to bite. It's against the law. It says you can sue the seller and the broker for withholding a known material fact. Need to be honest in your dealings. 23. Engaging in real estate business consists of acting for another. All of the following people must have a real estate license except B, a state government official selling 50 acres of state land. Okay, so a state government official does not have to have a license. Wow. That's crazy to me. In Arkansas, what is the amount due for filing fee of a timeshare interval project? In Arkansas, what is the amount due for a filing fee of timeshare interval project? $300 for a filling fee. It says filling, but I think they misspelled it. Filing fee of a timeshare interval project is $300. Okay, 25. The broker has entered into a listing agreement with the seller. Another broker from a different real estate company who has been working with a buyer learns of the property through the multiple listing system. Typically, the second cooperating broker would represent the buyer as an agent. I'm going to reread that because I didn't totally hear what it said. The broker has entered into a listing agreement with a seller. So the broker's listing house. Okay. Then another broker from a different real estate company has been working with a buyer. They learn of the property. So typically the second broker would represent the buyer as an agent. Okay. Sometimes it's just too wordy. Okay. Question number 26, and we're going to stop this video. A real estate company has entered into agency agreements with both a seller and a buyer. The seller and the buyer have signed the dual agency consent agreement. Legally, the salesperson may disclose a comparable market date to the seller if the buyer requests and receives such data from the salesperson. Yeah, legally, the salesperson may disclose comparable market date to the seller if the buyer requests and receives such data from the salesperson. Okay, all right. That's it for now. Break time.